This is part 2 of the video where we're talking about the sum and difference of cosine angles. All right, so we were on this last problem in this one particular section, and I want you to notice that it's the cosine of 7 pi over 9 times the cosine of 2 pi over 9 minus the sine of 7 pi over 9 sine 2 pi over 9. And I'm going to circle these angles right here. These two angles are identical. So this falls very nicely under the cosine of A, cosine of B, minus the sine of A, sine of B. This is the right-hand side of my cosine of A plus B formula. Therefore, this is going to be the cosine. A is 7 pi over 9. And B is 2 pi over 9. And when I add those two up, I get the cosine of pi. And I know the cosine of pi is just -1. All right, so I'm going to just do two examples of these kinds of problems where we are going to write a function in terms of its cofunction. And remember, cofunction angles, because they come from a right triangle, have to be complementary. Actually, I think there's 3 of them. They must be complementary. So I need to find an angle that's complementary to 15 degrees. I know that the cofunction for sine is cosine. So 15 degrees plus some angle equals 90 degrees. Okay, so what is theta going to be? Theta is going to be 75 degrees. So I know that these two functions are equivalent according to my cofunction identities. How about something like this? We typically don't find complementary angles when we have an angle that's bigger than 90 degrees. That's a little odd. All right, so, but it still works in the same way. We're going to have to subtract a value to get 90 degrees. So if this is my angle, right? One of the angles on my right triangle, which is impossible, I know. If that's one of my angles, what angle is complementary to it? 142 degrees, 14 minutes, plus theta equals 90 degrees. So we need to go ahead and subtract some angle to get that. I know, let's see, theta is 90 degrees minus 142 degrees, 14 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract bigger minus smaller and then put a negative in front of it. So if I say 142 degrees, 14 minutes, and I subtract 90 degrees, 0 minutes, I get 52 degrees, 14 minutes. I know it's got to be negative because I have a smaller angle. I'm subtracting a bigger angle from it. So this is going to be the cofunction of sine is cosine. This is going to be the cosine of negative 52 degrees, 14 minutes. Okay. So now how about if I have a decimal angle? I just do the same thing. Right? The cofunction for sine is cosine, 98.0142 degrees plus theta equals 90 degrees. If I subtract 98 degrees, 0.0142, I am going to get theta equals a negative 8.0142 degrees. So this is going to be the cosine of negative 8.0142 degrees. And that's how you do these types of problems where they're asking you to write something in terms of the cofunction.